How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We're here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sundays, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian. And it's Fun Friday here on the show. We got a lot to talk about here today. Lance Storm. You can't spell fun without Lance Storm. He's going to be joining us here today, and we got a lot of news to talk about. And got a lot of big shows coming up this weekend and in the future. Lance is here so we can talk about some of these upcoming TNA shows. I got a TNA announcement, too. And then we've got Smackdown coming up tonight and the All Out card tomorrow, the WrestlePalooza show on ESPN tomorrow. Although, on the show the other day, we did, in fact, order the new ESPN package live here on the air. It has been done, at least in this household. I am ready to go for tomorrow. We'll see about the rest of you. And then we'll talk about all the news, including, yes, Raja Jackson was arrested, although he is already a posted bond, I believe. I think. I was told he had posted bond. This story, he had not posted bond yet, but I think he's out. But we'll talk about that. Also got the Dynamite numbers from Wednesday, which are interesting. Updates on Dax Harwood and Wardlow and Andrade and Gunther and a number of other topics as well. Very newsworthy day, actually, for once. So anyway, we'll get into all of that today. If you want to text us, 425-780-7566 is the text message line. Should have time for a lot of those today. F4WOnline@gmail.com is the email. F4W Online, Threads, Instagram, and Cameo as well. $10 cameos. Can't go wrong with those. And on X and Blue Sky, I am at Bryan Alvarez. So a lot to get into here today with Lance. We'll kick it off after the break. Wrestling Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Well, we reviewed Smackdown yesterday, Tom, and you don't even get Smackdown. You're very, just, you know how you are.
Fine. Whatever. I don't care. Whatever.
That's your impression of me?
Yeah, that's my impression of you.
Wow.
So what are we, at least, I hope you at least watch the Smackdown main event.
I watched the entire show.
Okay, because there's a lot of people that still like your review, Tom.
I went on the board, and I saw like 2 people.
Yeah, do you go on you go on Twitter?
Yeah, I do go on Twitter,
You read my emails?
I do go on
the
Twitter.
The text messages? I mean...
Do you go on Twitter? Because if you do,
unfortunately, yes.
You would have seen one of the greatest moments in world history.
In world history, really.
World history. Frank Tate walked away the victor of the fight, but he walked away an even bigger winner when it comes to life. This man completed what I would say is the best high five, the best dap up in the history of the galaxy. This man had his dog. His dog. And when I say dog,
barely a dog.
I mean D-O-G and D-A-W-G. This was a dog, baby. The dog was so proud. You can see just the elation in that dog's face. He threw that paw up. He let it hang for a few moments, and then he brought it down for the dap.
Tom's not even doing this justice. Everyone has seen a dog, like you put your hand out and the dog like puts his paw up to shake hands. This freaking dog goes, ah, ha-bah! Like, what? That was more than a high five. I don't even know what you would even term that. He dunked. He dunked that man.
30 million views on this clip. And that is about 1/10 of what it should have. So if you haven't seen it, you deserve it. Treat yourself. Go to my Twitter. Watch Frank Tate high-five his dog.
No, he did not high-five his dog.
The dog high-fived him.
His dog high-fived him. Yes. He just wanted like a, just boom. And this dog was like, no way, brother. You knock that man out. I'm going to give you a big-time dunking high-five from way up high. You go high-five, up high, down low, too slow. This was an up high. Guy should have pulled his hand away.
It's the best thing you've ever seen.
Man, too slow, Joe. Yeah, it was pretty good. Not going to lie. I liked it. Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Lance Storm is joining us here today. And my God, everybody in the chat right now is talking about tomorrow and what VPN they're going to use. All thanking, though, Stephanie for advertising it on her podcast.
I've heard there's a lot of people that are unhappy because they were told they would get it with whatever their current package is, and they don't. And then there's also the issues, I guess, because there's a bundle that includes Disney Plus, and there's currently a big rash of unsubscribing to anything Disney.
Yep.
That VPN and Canadian Netflix may be the way to go for some people.
Well, it's funny because on Monday, Dave and I we had that big thing on the show about what is this even on? Where is it at? You know, what's the name of it? This and that. And you know, when we do anything on the show, it then gets, you know, clipped up, and then it ends up being a reel, and then it ends up being this and that. And so the reel ends up going all over the place like Wednesday afternoon, which is after ESPN had changed the way everything was arranged on the website. And then they'd also had a conference call where they explained how to do it. And then it was like, look at these two idiots. It's right there on the website, and it's been explained by ESPN. It's like, dude, we talked about that Monday. That was days ago, and you're just now seeing the video now. But the point is, I had a lot of people saying, oh, these guys are so dumb. All you have to do is click this button, and you can watch it. Click this button, you can watch it. So I'm looking at these kind of, like on Twitter and such threads, people talking about how stupid we are because you have to click a button and watch it. And then you start going further down. It's like, wait, we have to pay too? Yeah, who's stupid now? So anyway, figure it out, guys. It's tomorrow. And we'll talk about it here in a moment. But I want to mention a couple of things. Smackdown is tonight. We have an exclusive interview with Brock Lesnar. We have Cody Rhodes making an appearance. We have Sami Zayn defending against Carmelo Hayes. That is the U.S. title match. We have Charlotte and Alexa versus Chelsea and Alba for the women's tag team titles. So 4 matches coming up tonight. The pay-per-view is tomorrow, WrestlePalooza, and that's got John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Cody Rhodes against Drew for the WWE title, Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer, CM Punk and AJ versus Seth and Becky Lynch, and Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker versus the Usos. And they had, I think on the actual, like they set up those merchandise stands and everything, and they've got like a store. Sometimes they set up a full store. And there is a shirt for the event that apparently has a 3-way for the women's title. But it does not look like that match is going to be happening because Tiffany got injured on SmackDown last week doing that moonsault off the post, and appears to be in concussion protocol, although they never announced that. But the day of the show, I was told, looks like concussion protocol, and then she was pulled from NXT, and so I presume it's concussion protocol. So that's coming up tomorrow in the evening. In the daytime, we have the All Out show, which starts at 11 Pacific, 2 Eastern, with 3 tailgate brawl matches. We got Willow, Mina, Harley, and Queen Aminata against Julia Hart, Sky Blue, Megan Bayne, and Penelope in a tornado tag match. We have Daniel Garcia versus Katsuyori Shibata. And we have Samoa Joe and Powerhouse Hobbs versus the Workhorsemen. That's the pre-show. The main show then has Hangman Page versus Kyle Fletcher, Copeland and Cage versus FTR, Mercedes versus Riho for the TBS title, Okada versus Takeshita and Masquerade in a three-way for the unified title, Brodito, the Young Bucks, Jet Speed, and Josh Alexander and Hechicero in a ladder match for the tag titles. Hurt Syndicate versus Ricochet and Gates of Agony. John Moxley versus Darby Allin in a coffin match. Tony Storm against Tekla, Jamie Hayter, and Chris Statlander in a four-way. MJF and Mark Briscoe in a tables and tax match. You guys ready for a long show?
I think I counted 34 people on the main show. I could have missed a couple. It was a lot.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33 on the main show. Yeah.
It's a lot of people.
It's going to be a long day. So the way it's working is Vinny and I are watching All Out live. We will do a post-show afterwards. Later in the evening, I'm going to watch WrestlePalooza and then do a show with Dave afterwards. And then Vinny and I will review WrestlePalooza with Craig on Sunday night. That's the Bryan and Vinny show schedule. And also on the Bryan and Vinny show last night, which, by the way, if you're listening to this free, that's a free show. However you listen, it's up there free. I have decided, I made this decision, that starting the week of October 1st, because it just happens to be 20-year anniversary of the debut of TNA Impact on Spike TV. So we're going to start watching 20 years ago on TNA Impact from 2005 on, which I remember a lot about that period, but a lot of people romanticize the period. I believe more than is justified, and we're going to find out for sure as we rewatch it. And that'll be starting every Tuesday. Every Tuesday will just be 20 years ago on TNA Impact. You can watch the shows on TNA Plus. They may be on YouTube for all I know. But we're going to go back and watch the glory days of TNA, which, in fact, people romanticize about enough that the beginning of the actual turnaround for TNA over the last couple of years was when they rebranded back to TNA.
Mm-hmm. But just for a plug, if you're considering subscribing to TNA Plus for the October 1st, 20 years ago today retro shows, sign up this week, because this coming Friday, you'll be able to watch Victory Road live from Edmonton as well.
Yeah, why don't you give us some thoughts on these matches? We got Ash by Elegance versus Masha Slamovich for the knockout title with Indy Hartwell as a referee.
Yep.
What can you tell us about these matches?
Again, JC Jane beat Masha for the title. Ash was the one who brought it back, and now Masha wants her shot at the title. And Indy Hartwell has the winner at Bound for Glory in Lowell, Massachusetts in October.
I see. All right, we got Leon Slater and Myron Reed for the X title.
Yes, going to be a classic old-school TNA X Division match. Should be fantastic.
Heather by Elegance and M by Elegance versus the Inspiration for the Knockouts tag titles.
Yep, they've been feuding for a while now, so this should be an interesting one.
Steve Macklin and Frankie Kazarian.
Yep, just recently announced.
Title.
Yep. I think it was just announced last night.
And Ali versus Moose.
Really?
Yeah, Mustafa Ali versus Moose. It says right there, TNA Victory Road, September 26th.
Okay. I must be confusing the match that they're involved in for Bound for Glory.
I don't see anything they're doing for Bound for Glory yet.
Well, no, but I have a match in my head that isn't this one, so it's probably the one for Bound for Glory, and we'll leave it at that.
I see. Well, we got to talk about that after the break. We got a lot to talk about after the break. We'll quickly get through the news, and then I'll get your thoughts on this title-for-title match on NXT next week. What do you think about them apples? All right, back in a moment. Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Chat GPT, Smackdown review starring Filthy Tom and Bryan Alvarez.
Welcome back, you miserable wretches, to another disaster of an episode of Figure 4 Daily, the only show on the internet that's guaranteed to make your brain rot faster than watching one of these Smackdown episodes. I'm your host, Filthy Tom Waller, joined by the man who somehow manages to be more useless than a rubber knife in a prison fight, Bryan Alvarez. What's up, Bryan?
Let's not pretend you're the shining star of this operation. You're like a broken pencil. Pointless. And I don't even know I'm still here with you. Anyway, let's get to this train wreck of a Smackdown. Spoiler alert, if you were expecting a wrestling show, you've come to the wrong place. It was like watching someone fall asleep in real time.
You should know all about falling asleep, Bryan, since you've been half dead for years now. If enthusiasm was an Olympic sport, you would get a participation medal for showing up, but still lose.
I could tell the crowd was hyped for Drew, and Nakamura's music is always a banger, but it was just nothing. It's like watching a 5-minute commercial for a product you don't even want to buy.
And I bet the only thing that was more uninspiring than this match was your entire existence. Let's move on before I fall asleep right here on this microphone.
Tom, you think because you're a former fighter, that makes you a wrestling expert? You'd probably lose in a match with a traffic cone. Look, Jade's a star, but Liv Morgan, she's the human version of a please wait screen.
Liv Morgan is about as useful as a sandbag at a swimming pool party, who's like trying to make a turkey sandwich with no bread.
It's like the crowd went from yay to who's got the remote. Can we change the channel?
Liv Morgan's biggest move is making the audience wish for better things. She's like the human version of a wet sock. Nobody wants it.
I get it, Tom. You don't like fun. You don't like energy. You don't like anything that's not just sitting on your couch in your pajamas complaining.
More of the same.
Oh, we're back to more of the same, huh? Just like your wrestling career. More of the same, but somehow still a disaster.
Well, that's it, folks. SmackDown 2025 was more like SmackDown 2005. Same old stuff, same old disappointments. Join us next time when we tear apart something else for your listening pleasure.
Yeah, next time, Tom, maybe we'll actually have some real wrestling to talk about instead of whatever disaster this was. Until then, just remember, don't listen to Tom and don't watch SmackDown unless you hate yourself.
Whatever. It's your funeral.
What? I've never been so embarrassed doing this show as I was for the last 5 minutes. God. And the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. And yes, this weekend is the first weekend. The WWE shows will be airing on ESPN, and AEW shows will be airing on Max. If you want to save the $10 and get them through Max. So there you go. Yeah, this Tuesday, it is Trick Williams and Obafemi, title versus title. Winner allegedly will leave with both belts, which makes everything very weird because Santana is supposed to face Trick for the TNA title at Bound for Glory. And I think we ain't seen a title change. I think there's going to be a schmoz TNA invasion. But that is certainly a monkey wrench thrown into the cog of the wheel. I don't know.
There's a degree of problematics with the logic because, yes, Trick and Santana is booked, signed, and promoted for Bound for Glory. So I would really hope at least Trick retains. If he gets both belts, sweet. But yeah, like you say, I wouldn't be surprised terribly if there was a run-in and an indecisive finish here.
Were you one of the 85 TNA talents that tweeted out your anger for this match being booked?
I did not, no.
So you're not going to run in next Tuesday?
I don't even have Twitter.
I guess right. Were you the one guy on Blue Sky that was angry about it? So that show also has Ash or Masha versus Indy. Guess I could have read that first. The Hardys versus Team 3D in a...
This is Bound for Glory now, not...
Yep, tables match, right?
Not Victory Road that's coming up, but yeah.
Tables match?
Is it? I don't know.
I thought it was. It doesn't list it as that here, but I thought that's what it was. But we do have a hardcore war. Ali, Agent Zero, John Schuyler, Jason Hotch, and Tasha Steeles versus Moose, Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, JDC, and Alicia Edwards. So that's the lineup for Bound for Glory. That show's coming up October 12. All right. Yes, everyone. What, Yeti, what are you mad about? What did I do now? I can't even read what he wrote. I must have said something dumb. Raja Jackson has been arrested and charged with a felony in connection with an incident involving Psycho Stu last month. He was arrested Thursday morning. As of this report, it says he's still behind bars, although I do believe he posted the $50,000 bond. The report does not state which law enforcement agency brought the felony charge. LAPD was known to be investigating the incident. Took place August 23rd on Knox Pro. And if you get mad at me, don't get mad at me. I'm not making light of it. This is what Rampage said. He said he had saved money for his 2 Asian sons to go to college, and he had saved money for Raja to bail him out. And he apparently has been bailed out. So Stu was hospitalized for several days. They've raised more than $220,000 on the GoFundMe. And I guess there's more to come on that, but an arrest was made. So there you go. Oh, he was mad at me for saying you were the one guy on Blue Sky. I meant the one TNA talent. There's plenty. I'm on Blue Sky at Bryan Alvarez. Also on X. So yeah, that's the update on Raja.
And a felony arrest at that.
Yeah, $50,000 bond makes me, I don't know. I shouldn't think about it too much, but I mean, it seems to me that if they were really going to throw the book at him, the bond would be much higher. But I guess we'll find out soon enough. The September to Remember show, this is a very interesting number. I know people don't like to talk about ratings, but I'll make it quick because it is kind of newsworthy. The show did 667,000 viewers, up 14% from last week. And the 18 to 49 was 0.14 in 18 to 49. So viewership up 14%, 18 to 49 up 7%. And
is that the 2 hours or the 3?
That's for the whole show. But if you just take the 2 hours, it did significantly better because as we pretty much figured, that third hour died. And I've actually got the quarter hours here. And when I got to clarify this, by the way. So the first 2 hours, and I stick by my statement that advertising a lot of matches in advance is a benefit to your wrestling show. The entire first hour was well above average. Every single quarter was above average. And then in the second hour, when Collision started, over the course of that hour, they fell from 620 to 440. So they almost lost 200,000 viewers in that last...
third hour.
In the third hour. Third hour. But here's the thing. Even though that hour died, it still did significantly better than Collision would have done on Saturday night. So I'm not a big fan necessarily of the 3-hour blocks, but this is another example that even though the third hour did very poorly compared to the first and second hour, a poor third hour of Collision on a Wednesday is way higher than a Saturday night Collision. So we'll see what they end up doing in the future. But the show opened at 746,000 viewers in a .16, and I mean it stayed strong all the way through the end. The Cope Christian FTR Stokely angle and the Young Bucks promo in the beginning of their match that hit 697,000 in from 9 to 9:15. So actually, it was a really, really good number. And part of that's branded show. I think part of that is, what did we have? I think it was 11 things announced for the show days in advance. So I think that's something to consider going forward. Dax claimed he broke his nose.
Wait, Christian broke his nose.
Well, yeah. And that guy, let me tell you. So he said he had an X-ray, and to the shock of no one, I have a severely broken nose. Everybody asked if it was legit. I don't know. I don't know if the actual break is legit, but his nose was busted up bad, big time. And I think there's a very good chance that's 100% legit. Because, man, you could even hear it when he hit him with that mic. Like, the mic normally makes like a thumping noise, like that. But this was like a thump and a crack. And he's just pouring down blood. I mean, God. But he's wrestling Saturday, he says. He's going to be there one way or the other. And he's going to embarrass him.
I'm pretty sure they'd have to handcuff him backstage to not have Dax go to the ring for this match.
Yeah, and also, we were talking about it the other day. Someone asked him on Twitter, like, what are you going to do if you lose to these guys? And I think he said, like, that'll be the end of my career as an active performer, something like that. That's just him on Twitter. There was no mention of that whatsoever on Dynamite. It's not a stipulation. It's nothing like that. We've got... I should mention this. So a few days ago, I'm not going to say where it was reported because then, everyone likes to throw everybody under the bus. Look, listen, everybody gets things right and wrong. It's just the way it goes, okay? But it was reported that the original plan for All Out was actually Wardlow against Hangman Page. And if you recall that show, I was very skeptical. It made no sense to me. It sounded like a bad idea. Like, nothing against Wardlow, but, like, the dude was out for 2 years. He comes back, and he's going to be in a title match main eventing a pay-per-view. Seemed very rushed. And Tony Khan, when he did the media call yesterday, he confirmed that Wardlow was injured, but he said reports that he was going to be the challenger for the title at All Out were not true. He said it was always going to be Hangman and Fletcher, and Wardlow was not going to be in that match. And, promoters say a lot of things, but I believe this is true because it doesn't make any sense for it to have been Wardlow. So that's the update there. Also got Andrade. There was a report online that, and this was kind of weird. He was let go for whatever reason, okay? But there was a report online, might have come from the Observer, I haven't read it yet, that one of the things that they weren't happy with was his English speaking ability, okay? Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but it seems weird because they have a lot of people on that roster who speak very poor English, and they're pushed very hard. So, for example, Stephanie has a rough time. They push her. Asuka's promos are almost entirely in Japanese. Same with, here's the question. Is Andrade any worse at speaking English than Asuka, Kairi, Stephanie Vicaire, who else? Julia, Io. He's no worse than any of them. So I'm a little bit skeptical of that story. But I do know that there had been discussions about bringing in, remember Jose the assistant from AEW. They were going to pair them up, and Jose was going to do, I don't know if it was like 100%, but they talked about the possibility of him coming in as a duo, and so he could do some of the promos for Andrade. I never had a problem with Andrade at all. I thought his promos were great. when he did his promos. But
Yeah, I've never not been able to understand him.
no, and he's got kind of a cool accent, really, when he tries. So they had talked about that though. So apparently there was at least something to it. But anyway, we got more after the break, and we'll take your text messages today. No phone calls. Text me your questions for Lance and myself. 425-780-7566. That is 425-780-7566. More after the break. Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Warner Brothers Discovery announcement came out, and the gist of it is Dynamite and Collision are going to remain on Wednesday and Saturday. Rampage appears to be history, which we had thought. Dynamite and Collision is streamed live on Max if you're a U.S. subscriber.
$555 million over 3 years, $185 million a year. Average $185 million a year. It starts lower. The middle year would probably be about that, and the third year would be up from that, and then the fourth year would be way up.
Big question for me is, are all the archives up? Or going to be up? Can I go back 5 years ago and watch all of the Dynamites in order?
I believe that they will be. Yeah, this won't be till January. I don't know that as a fact, but they're putting archival programming on, so there will be, I don't know if everything will be up, but there will be, I mean, I expect that everything will be up, yeah. I had a little announcement I wanted to make. A lot of people got really exposed, when this.
Oh no, yeah, save that for the Garrett show.
I mean,
save that one.
Why? You don't want any heat from these people who
Well,
deserve...
no, but I've heard it multiple times.
I've been sitting here playing punching bag for these clowns for years, and I mean, this was great. This was quite the week of vindication between the Vince McMahon documentary and this deal. Yes, for me. There's an even bigger vindication for Tony Khan. Not that, it's even though they're completely different topics. The guy who spent 5 years with all these clowns calling him a money mark, and they went through a couple of years in money losses, which a lot of businesses do. And they could afford it, but the long-term goal was always to make this thing profitable. So at the end of the day, here we are, and with this deal, this is going to be the second most profitable pro wrestling company in the history of pro wrestling, and all of these people that and it's like, I'm not saying you should have figured that much out, but in the last year, it kind of was leaning this way. And even if it wasn't going to be the second most profitable company in the history of pro wrestling, it would end up being profitable, which once you're profitable, the term money mark goes out the window. So anyway, this is like complete vindication. Jericho actually went on the show. I mean, it was almost like he was reading my mind with that line about, boy, did all these experts come off as being really stupid and out of touch. I don't know if he used those words, but they were. Because it's not like this came out of nowhere. We've been talking about this for months. I've been telling people. I've been telling them. I go you better frickin' pivot, because you're going to look like fools if this deal comes in the way it looks it's going to come in. And none of them could stop. They're so deep into it. They've been lying to their podcast listeners for God knows how long. So anyway, there's a lot more to that. But anyway, I did want to get that off my chest.
Back on the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Lance Storm joining us here today. If you want to send in your Q&A questions, do it right now. 425-780-7566 is the text message line. That's 425-780-7566. So Gunther, according to the Observer, is expected back very soon. He's been off for 2 months after they did an injury angle to explain an upcoming surgery for a nose issue. And I would say that expected back very soon means tomorrow. That's pretty much what I was told. So he should be back tomorrow, and if not, very shortly thereafter. But Triple H, what was that?
Who caused his injury 2 months ago?
Well, the alleged injury.
Yeah, the angle.
I think it was CM Punk smashed his face into the announce table. So basically, they did the same thing they did with Harley Cameron, smashing the face into something.
Oh, that's right. I remember that because I was frustrated that they credited him getting tripped and falling face first on the desk rather than the 2 GTSs he did next.
Yes. Well, the guy wears knee pads. The table's much more devastating. So yeah, that's the update on him. And yes, Triple H did a press thing or something today and said it'll be a big show tomorrow. Lots of surprises, he said. So I would presume that is one of them. There was a interview where Nick Khan, I guess he was talking to John Orand about when they decided, hey, we might be able to get some money to go to towns. He said the light bulb went off when he learned that UFC got $3 million from Salt Lake City for an event. He said, I looked at our current WrestleMania deal. We were getting around $150,000. And what I call posters around the city, which is value in kind. So we got an economic impact report, and we got into the subsidy business. And that will peak in 2027 when they make about $120 million from, and it might even be more. I mean, it depends on what the main, if they get Rock and Roman Reigns in the main event, and they got 2 nights of WrestleMania. Actually, when I think about this, it's like they were making 50 to 60 million for one crown jewel, okay? So they're going to get not just a crown jewel, which if you ever watched those shows, they were like house shows. They're getting a WrestleMania.
2 of them, presumably.
Exactly. They're getting a second night of WrestleMania. They're getting a Smackdown. They're getting a Raw. And then like whatever they do with the Hall of Fame. They're getting 4 shows. They were getting $60 million for a show. So, like, all of these stories about how they're going to make a minimum of, like, $100 million is chump change, I think, at this point. When you think about what they're going to make, I'll bet they make close to $200 million for this weekend, especially if they get Rock and Roman Reigns. I mean, if it was even, like, straight across, it should be $120 million just for the 2 nights of Mania. But Mania's a bigger show, so I don't know, what, $75 million per show? That's $150 million right now, or right there. Then you got Raw and SmackDown, the Raw after WrestleMania. I mean, I bet they make $200 million off this deal, which is much better than $150,000 for WrestleMania a few years ago. So, if you're wondering why they're going to, Saudi Arabia, now you know. $200 million would be the...
If you're not sure, play Shane McMahon's entrance music. It will let you know.
Yes.
Here comes the money.
Alrighty. Let's see what we got in the text message bin. 425-780-7566 is the phone number. Let's see. We got some email questions here, too. Who do you see taking the title off Tony Storm or Mercedes? Seems like there's nobody really in mind, unless they start getting a big push very soon. Tony's very good at pushing his champions as never losing, because it's easy for him because he doesn't beat a lot of people. But, like, building up the challenger for them sometimes can be a challenge. I have no idea who's going to beat Tony Storm and Mercedes. He's pushed them at a different level from everybody else. And, their women's division right now, some people might get mad at me for this, but it's my job. Their women's division right now is very much like the men's tag team division on SmackDown. It's just they've got a lot of people involved in it, but none of them stick out. They all just wrestle each other every week. This person beats that person, this person beat that person, this 10-woman tag, this 10-woman tag, this 8-woman $100,000 match, this 4-way. It's like everybody, there's Tony and Mercedes, and there's everybody else way down here. And all the people down here, and the matches are a lot better, but it's like, beat this person, beat the... So no one sticks out, just like no one sticks out in the SmackDown tag division. Nobody sticks out as being like the next person. It'll probably
But with
just
the
be...
AEW women's division, at least we know the standouts are the champions.
Well, that's true.
But that's
Who
where...
are the tag champions on SmackDown? Anybody know off the top of their head?
No. But that's the one thing, like,
See how long it takes.
I don't agree with the logic of, well, who's next? It's like, and again, maybe I'm old school, but it's like...
They got it, the Wyatts.
Why would you need a next for Tony right now? It's like when Hogan was on top, you just ran with Hogan because he was a standout and drawing for you. And Tony is
I think it's more
continuing to stand
Mercedes.
out.
I mean, she's got 9 titles. Isn't it time for something?
I think I would think you could do something with. I'm thinking Ember now because they mentioned her on NXT. But what the heck is Ember Moon's actual real name?
Oh, but she's vanished.
Well, it doesn't mean you can't bring her back.
Well, I know, but that's like another one. It's like, where's she been?
Athena. Yeah.
Athena just disappeared. So, hey, maybe they do Tony and Mercedes again, and someone unifies all the belts, and then. Can you imagine if Mercedes won 9 belts and then her and Tony unified them into 10 titles and Tony won, and then Tony had to go all over the world dropping the belts back?
It'd be the world's best rib. Go around the world and win all these indie titles and then drop them to one person so she has to go around the world and drop all these indie belts. Although I suspect...
I hope I didn't put that into the universe.
Many of those belts, I'm assuming, will just be mailed back.
Dude, I know you don't want to do anything anymore. I know you just want to be a backstage guy. But Brandon here says, this TNA NXT invasion needs to begin with you throwing a super kick. It's just history, brother. You can throw one super kick.
They need to give me a good advance notice just to stretch.
Golly. Well, no, it could be just kick one of the smaller guys.
It's actually hard to super kick a short person. When I had to super kick Booker Wee, that is a really weird angle to throw it.
It actually is.
It is, yes. Last time I threw a super kick was New Year's Eve when I hit Judas Icarus on the Boom Show.
I mean, they're working, WWE is working with AAA now, so maybe they could bring in, like, Mini Abismo Negro. You could super kick that guy. He's kind of right in the middle. He's like a really, really big mini.
So like you.
How dare you? I am well above the 5'2" limit. All right. Where's my text messages here? All right, here we go. This person here says, since Andrade was fired, he would have... I don't think he was... Was he fired or was he released? I mean, I presume he's got
his contract run out, or was he cut?
He would have a 90-day no-compete. Yes, I think one way or the other. The only way you don't have a non-compete is if your contract just expires and you're free. So I think he would have to sit out 90 days. This person says, notice Triple H says lots of surprises instead of great wrestling. Well, he did say that, but I don't think that means. Let's look at the card. Cena and Lesnar. Hey, listen. John Cena's babyface matches, whatever you want to say about the guy, they've been real good. And all Lesnar has to do is kill him for a long time, and then I think that match actually might be pretty good. Cody and Drew, don't even try and tell me that ain't going to be a good match. Yeah. Io Sky and Stephanie Vaquer, it's going to be a good match. Bronson and Braun versus the Usos, I don't know why that wouldn't be a good match. And then, Punk and AJ Lee versus Seth and Becky, it'll be a spectacle. I don't know how good of a match it'll be.
It'll be great. It's not going to be party match 10,000 moves, but I bet you it's entertaining.
I'm sure it will be entertaining. I think that's going to be a good show. Like in the ring. I guess we'll find out. Let's see. This person pointing out the Young Bucks are not in the Don Callis family, but they are aligned with him. This is in reference to... they did that angle on Dynamite where they very specifically stated that Hangman put it in the contract that nobody in the Don Callis family can interfere in the match or Kyle will be stripped of the title and lose via DQ. But the wording was specifically the Don Callis family. So there are, 191 wrestlers left that probably could run in during that match. I don't know that's going to happen, but they made that point that it was the Don Callis family. So,
well, if those Bucks blow the rest of their money by Saturday, then maybe.
They are going through that money quick. Let's see. Guys, this is Ismael from Virginia. I'm a day one AEW fan, still love the product. However, some of the hotshot booking is starting to wear on me. I was greatly looking forward to the slow burn and eventual breakup of Takeshi and Okada, eventually leading to a big-time match. But before any of that, they're thrown together in a totally random three-way with a third party that is almost never on AEW television. Of course, the match will rule, but a lot of matches rule. They should have been kept separate and add the feud build to something special. It's wasteful, in my opinion, and makes it just another part of the card. I am surprised by how rapidly they're doing that. And,
But if they are going to do a long burn and this just lights the first match, and I'm thinking like a match that you light, creating a flame, not a wrestling match, that if you just start the slow burn with striking the match here, the actual one-on-one confrontation can be far enough away that it'll feel new again.
Well, I'll put it this way. I have no inside information about what I'm going to say, so don't write stupid stories on the internet about this. This is not something that Tony normally does, which makes me think that there might be a reason for it. And obviously, Takeshita just won the G1. And Takeshita is going after the IWGP title actually very shortly. They're doing the same thing they did with Zack. I think he's getting his title shot in October. So it might be a deal where in October, Takeshi's winning that IWGP title, and they aren't going to be able to put these guys together in a singles match potentially for a long time because presumably Tony doesn't want to beat Okada, and he's not going to be able to beat Takeshita. And so they had to put this together and get him in the ring together before that happened. I don't know if that's what's going on, but him rushing this makes me think something is happening that necessitates this being done quickly. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. We all went to the AEW Wrestle Dream pay-per-view in the Tacoma Dome. What a dump.
They've remodeled in the last 5 years.
I don't want to watch a show in the Tacoma Dome. I'm over that part of my life.
So this is all about
I
you,
want
okay.
It is all about me. It's my show.
Yep.
Sick of these crappy dumps.
Rico. Yes. Rico Constantino.
Mm-hmm.
When Rico Constantino showed up on the screen, I almost fainted.
If you would have slapped me with a bass, I would have been less surprised.
A bass,
Yeah.
you say?
Excuse me?
You heard me.
Now, you mean the fish or like a bass, the instrument?
No, a bass.
Well, he would have said a bass if he meant a bass.
Shibata hooks a rear naked choke, and Shibata's shoulders were down, and the referee counted 3.
I don't care what happened in Florida in 1973.
That is an Eddie Graham babyface finish when he wanted a heel to get a fluke win.
The crowd hated it.
Hated it.
You know, people are upset that Adam Cole's back as a babyface or whatever.
Why?
But, dude, he's been gone for a year. So they obviously want to do Adam Cole and MJF. MJF is a heel.
Mhm.
So obviously Adam Cole is coming back as a babyface.
Yes. Will Ospreay, Takeshita, and Ricochet. My rating for this match was 1 zillion stars. I believe this may be my new favorite three-way ever. John Moxley versus Bryan Danielson.
You have to
Not a
say it in
fun
such a
match.
sad way.
Yes! It was sad. It was a sad match.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, before we even get to the post-match. The whole thing, start to finish, was sad. It was meant to bum you, the fans, out.
It worked.
It worked. It elicited emotions, which is what art is supposed to do.
It was very much like The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels when Undertaker retired him, and like that's exactly what happened, is everyone just slowly stood up and quietly, sadly walked out of the building that night.
There was one gentleman that was walking by us, and he was dripping in Bryan Danielson's merchandise.
Hmm.
And he was wailing, and he cried forget my language. I can't believe they punked out my favorite wrestler like a bitch. And he was so
Wow.
upset.
And we go into that press conference. All I got to say about Don Callis is, man, I can't help but notice he's got a big mouth when he's got Takeshita right next to him, doesn't he?
That was a scintillating question. And I think maybe after that, we're finally the Bryan and Vinny show might actually just be the Bryan show. That was producer Rob level stuff right there. Need to work on your game a little bit. Okay. Next.
Rob's so excited and happy now. He texted me today. So it looks like I'm feuding with Don Callis. Ha ha. That's what he texted me.
That's not the way I took it at all. I looked at his wiener, and now he's mad at me. Duh.
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Lance Storm joining us here today. And this person says Jericho should return it all in, rescue Eddie Kingston from his learning tree, and then team with him to win the tag team titles. Well, that's certainly something to do. I think they got to do that Eddie Kingston. Well, I guess they don't have to. But he was injured in that match with, what's his name?
Gabe Kidd. So I think they probably have to figure that one out at some point. Although it wasn't on an AEW show, so they don't have to. And Gabe Kidd's apparently dead. He got dragged off into the night.
Oh, I was wondering where you're going. I forgot about the body bag thing. I'm just like, excuse me?
Yeah. So that was something. This person says, how... don't start talking about how low the ratings are. The ratings are fine, everybody. I know they seem low, but they're actually doing fine. If you're really worried about the AEW ratings, instead of looking at the numbers and 0.14 versus 0.14, go and look where they rank for the night every week. If they are consistently in the top 5, that means that whatever their ratings are, those are good ratings, okay? Don't compare them to the 90s. Don't compare them to even 5 years ago. Where do they rank in the cable ratings for the night? If they're in the top 5, they're doing great. If they're like, what was that? I think before like NXT got hot, like sometimes they'd be like way down low. Like so far they dropped off the top 100 chart. I mean that's bad. But obviously they're on a CW now. They're doing much better. So that's how you should determine whether they're doing well or not. Once they start, not being in the top 10, not being in the top 20, now, yes, they're doing bad numbers. Consistently in the top 5, number 1 for the night, they're doing fine. So, anyway, we got to wrap it up. We'll be back later on this weekend with a lot of shows for subscribers. So, sign up however you're watching or listening to this. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, WrestlingObserver.com. And enjoying the fun. So that's it. Thanks, Lance, as always. Callers and listeners over the studio. We'll talk to you next time. Wrestling Observer Live.